All right, so I want to put you in a situation for a sec. Imagine you're working on a film, a movie, a short film or a feature or whatever it is. You put a lot of months into it. Like writing the script, gathering the funds, finally putting it together. It's the biggest project you've ever done. And there's a lot of pressure now. So you're finally done shooting it. Amazing. Like if you're at this stage and you're watching this video, especially like you're ahead of most people that are ever gonna make or ever gonna want to make a film. Most people don't get to actually step out and do it. So you're there. Now imagine you did the edit and you're putting together the music. You hired a really talented artist. They're really busy, and your vision for the music, in a sense, is real instruments, like an orchestral kind of sound, so not electronic or synth, and you relay that to the artist. And he's really busy, and he's super talented, and he spends a few weeks on it, and he comes back to you, and you listen to it, and it sounds really good, but there's a lot of electronic and synth sounds in the score. What do you do? How do you approach that, especially when you're starting out? When it's your first project, do you succumb to the process or do you fight for your idea? So let's back up for a second. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, who am I? My name is Khizer Khani. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, the Greater Toronto area, but to any of you not in Canada, you can just pretend like I'm from Toronto. It's easier that way. I make movies. I make narrative movies especially, but I'm also like a really fan of like storytelling in every aspect. That's why I like dabbling into like non-fictional work sometimes, and I love like making content and entertaining people in different facets. I stream on Twitch. I was in the middle trying to like make like Instagram stories, but I never could do the daily thing on Instagram. But yeah, so that's me. If you're anyone that's making something, that's creating anything, whether that's music, video, movies, art, or anything, I think that there's a big chance that you could take a lot from this video. The thesis for this video is don't let your ideas die. Now, for any person that's doing any sort of creating in any sort of art form, that sounds clinically simple. Like, my creation exists because of my idea. And without that idea, I can't, like, it's the spark for the whole process. So without it, I can't be creating at all. So, of course, I shouldn't let my idea die. I can't, otherwise I won't be here. But that's not really what I mean. What I mean is, when you start doing anything, whether you start making music or you start making films in my case, or you start writing, it starts off small. So, for example, when I was making films a few years ago, it was just me and 2-3 other people. It was like me, my friend Andrew, who's acting in it, my friend Will, who was usually shooting it, and then maybe 1 or 2 actors. Maybe a friend of mine would hold a boom pole, but like they weren't really part of the like. So like Will was part of the creative process, and let's say Andrew was, right? And everyone else was just there to help out because they were friends, or they were like people that like really wanted to be part of my process. They wanted to collaborate in that sense, but they weren't part like of the heavy creative process. And there wasn't a lot of money in the line, and we were working off of everyone's schedules. So that's like my version of like, okay, like no money, no stakes. We're going to make something really interesting. And if we don't, like, we'll work on something again and we'll try to improve. But when you start doing that, eventually, you start raising the scale. You start raising the scale of the actual shoot. You start raising the scale of the actual story. And you get to a point where you start putting money into the project because there is a potential for return, whether that's return in connections and getting into festivals and meeting people that can potentially take your career up, or that's returns in actual income and actual money. Yeah, maybe you're trying to sell the project for a series, or you're trying to sell the short to a distributor that you already know. And in those cases, you're like, all right, now I'll start putting money into it. And when you start putting money into the project, and I mean, like, there's a mirrored example for every art form, right? So it's like, if you're writing a novel, all of a sudden now you're hiring an editor. If you're like a singer, all of a sudden, instead of using free beats, now you're hiring like someone to create beats for you. Or what, like there's so many different versions of this, right? Like, you're increasing the scale, you're putting money into the project because you see the potential. It's not just something that you like to do, but it has a pathway for you to a potential career. And so as you kind of increase the scale more and more, you bring in more people, you have more creative people, more talking heads, adding their say-so, for better or for worse, it becomes harder and harder to hold your vision together. And look, this aspect is hard to explain for me. For other art forms, I imagine it's similar. But for me, a part of like making films that's so incredible is like there's this euphoric, cathartic feeling at the end of your project. It's not necessarily happiness, because 9 times out of 10 you don't like the project, but you've put so many like hours and months of work into like one project, and to finally finish it is like this incredible feeling. You're like, we did this. For good or for worse, we did this. And there's times though that like near the end of every project, like there's this voice in the back of my head that's like, just end it. Like, it's good enough. It's good enough. It's fine. It's fine. Like we can move on here. Like, we're okay. Like, this music is good, or this edit is fine. We don't need to work on it anymore. I don't like this film anyways. So this is a plea from me to you, that when you get a draft of anything and your brain's telling you that it's good enough, remember that your vision that you originally had is worth the extra work. And I find that if I fully try to commit to my vision, even if after I realize that I didn't think I did a good enough job or whatever it is, I learn a lot more from that than me letting other people, than me undermining my own vision and trying to do something else because I don't think it's good enough, or because I think midway through I'm like, okay, it's fine, whatever we have is fine. My vision wasn't worth going for anyways, or my vision might have not been as good anyways. It's like, I want you to go for it. I want you to try. I want you to try to get your vision as close as you can to the final product. And I know, and this is not trying to be like, put more money into it or whatever it is. This is for the circumstances like I had. So that story was real for me. Like, it was a project that I did. I've had it on a few projects early on where I would hire a musician, and music was an aspect that I didn't know as much, and I still don't know as much as some of the other aspects of film. And because I felt like it was so much work for the artist and the composer, I would never give a lot of notes. There'd be things that I'd really want the film to have. Like, I'd really want the film, let's say, to start off with this like violin piece, or something like that, right? Like this kind of like tune that made me feel like a certain way, and then the composer would come in with a piano, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is pretty good though. Like, I mean, it's fine, like it works. And I'm like, and looking back, I'm like, no, I should have like messaged back. I'm like, no, I need the opening to start like this, and for me now, that's what I do. like now I'm a lot more like I'm not like, you don't need to be rude about it, but like I know what my vision is, and I hire people to help make that vision come true and to enhance the vision, but the vision is still the vision, if that makes sense. I really suffered through a lot of this starting out as an artist, as an inexperienced artist, and it was something that like, and when I meet new artists, I try to tell them this, that you need to go for your vision, and whatever happens. Like you can't undermine that, and that's the purity of art, is the vision. So all in all, just don't suffer my fate. Just go for it. I feel like there's so much more to learn from going for it than to regretting it later. That's all. That's really it from me, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you comment, do all that other stuff. I'm trying to post weekly, so yeah. If you want to see me as well, I'm streaming on Twitch 2 to 3 times a week, Friday for sure. So if you can probably drop in. To be honest, just follow me on Twitter. I usually post when I'm streaming, but usually it's Friday, Mondays, one day on the weekend, and then I do some edit streams. Like I don't play every day, but I do edit. I've been starting to edit on stream. I might do the podcast as well on stream. That's really about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to get a new mic soon, so hopefully we'll be able to move around and not just have this shot here. Because for now, whenever I'm shooting talking segments, I need to do it here because the mic's here and I don't have a mic yet. Peace. And so this is what this video is about. Don't let your ideas die. Roll the fake intro. Or roll an intro if I have it here. Come on, just push.